Would you believe that you can make 60 grand a month just with a Bobcat like this? What got you onto this?
A lot of demand. People that have land, they lose parts of their property every year as the honeysuckle grows in on them.
No employees, not a bunch of startup costs because you can finance these things. You paid back all of your startup costs from your first job.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
This year we ended up doing about $565,000.
In 6 months?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's never been so simple to start a business.
Yeah. What did your first customer look like? Who were they? How did you find them, etc.?
So they came in through...
That's exactly what my friend Alex did. So $6,000 job, $4,000 profit.
Yeah.
How big could it scale?
The sky's the limit. I could easily see this getting to about $30 million a year.
Holy cow. I said, Alex, I got to fly you to Texas. You got to show my viewers exactly how they can copy you.
So we'll make around $10,000 to $11,000 per snow event.
How do you find those customers? So without further ado, let's go meet Alex. All right, Alex, thank you for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
How was the flight?
It was all right. It was cold getting on the plane, but
Okay.
it wasn't too bad.
Okay, well, tell us about your business.
So we do forestry mulching and land clearing. So we just clear woods, clear land.
And how long have you been doing that?
So we're about 2 years in.
Okay, and you enjoy it?
Oh, we love it.
Now, of all things you could have started, because you're kind of an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
what got you onto this?
A lot of demand for it. So, where we live in Cincinnati, there's invasive honeysuckle issue. People that have land, they lose parts of their property every year as the honeysuckle grows in on them. So a lot of people didn't know about this kind of business, and they were paying tree services, lots and lots of money to do it by hand. So we came in and said, we can offer a more affordable solution, and it's cooler to watch.
Yeah. Now, have you ever used this yourself? Like, were you a customer of this?
Yeah, so I have 5 acres, and about 3 of it was wooded. It was an old pasture that had grown up for about 15 years, and my whole backyard was essentially unusable.
Yeah.
So it was growing in on my barn, and that's kind of how I found this type of service, was looking for a solution that was reasonable. It would be tens of thousands to have a tree service to it. So landed on forestry mulching and noticed it was mostly for commercial stuff. And I said, hey, somebody needs to do this residentially. We looked at, the only company I could find was pretty far away down in Lexington. And so I said, hey, we'll just start this.
I mean, Cincinnati, it's a big city.
Yeah.
And you couldn't find anyone to do this, just to clear your land.
No, couldn't find anybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did you, aside from just like looking on Google, how did you actually learn that there was more demand than supply?
So I did a lot of keyword research on it, just looking into, what if people are searching clear my land, maybe not necessarily searching for forestry mulching. That's more of a commercial term. It's just more of clear my land, get rid of this honeysuckle. Just everything that I could possibly think of, I would run it through keyword search terms. And I had hundreds and hundreds of them. And then I compared that to concrete work. And, the demand for forestry mulching was pretty close to concrete. It wasn't quite as much, but, there's 1,000 concrete companies.
Yeah.
So people were searching for these terms. And so that's how I just decided, hey, this is going to work.
Yeah. Now, give me an example of like what they call a long tail search term, right? Like, because you said you looked hundreds of them up. Is it like land clearing near me, like affordable land clearing, how clear land, stuff like that? Like, is it very few people are searching, but in aggregate, there's a lot of them? Yeah.
So a long tail keyword would be more like clear my woods, open up my land. And they're not necessarily like land clearing and forestry mulching, more the commercial terms.
Yeah, like honeysuckle invasion.
Yeah. How do I get rid of this honeysuckle?
Yeah.
That would be a long tail keyword. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I use ChatGPT. I just to kind of see like, hey, this is the service. What would people look for? So just created a big list, ran it through a keyword tool, and just saw there was a lot of demand.
Okay, so you buy 5 acres.
Yep.
3 of it is unusable.
Yep.
You start looking for someone to clear it.
Yep.
Tree trimming companies are like, we'll do it. It'll take us 2 weeks and it'll be $12,000.
Yep.
You're like, no, there's got to be a better way. You start looking up land clearing, forestry mulching. There are companies doing it, but mostly commercially. They're using these industry specific terms that consumers don't even know.
Right.
They don't even know what to search for. And you kind of find this arbitrage opportunity, right? Coming from like being an internet marketer.
Yep.
And you say, I should do this.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do next? Like, you go spend a bunch of money on one of these things or what?
Pretty much. Yeah. So, the smart thing would probably have been to start the business and then buy the equipment, get the customers. I was very confident in the demand.
Yeah.
We bought the machine first and then sought the customers.
Okay. What made you think to compare it to like concrete work? Is it because it's like a comparable price point?
Yeah, it is really. I mean, it is pretty comparable. Concrete, I just kind of looked at, it was more so because I just see concrete companies all the time,
Yeah.
And I just said, if I can compare it to their demand, I can at least have a general idea of how many concrete companies are out there.
Yeah.
And how many people are looking for their service. While it's not necessarily in the same ballpark, the price wise it kind of is.
So all of these search terms, the traffic that you found was specifically for like greater Cincinnati, not just nation?
Yeah, so essentially 50 miles outside of where we are. Yeah, would be our range.
I'm just making these numbers up, but let's say you look up all these long tail concrete work search terms and 1,000 people a day in Cincinnati are searching for them, and there's 100 companies ready to fulfill that service. And then for land clearing, there's 800 people a day searching for it, and there's 2 companies.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh. Or something.
Yeah. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay. All right. So when did like the website come and like the entity formation? Like, walk us through from like day 1 to day 30.
Yeah, day 1 is more as I started building the website first. As at the same time, we're kind of getting quotes on the equipment. So we probably launched the website within a few days of actually buying the equipment because I needed something that I could send leads to. And then the idea of the YouTube channel came about to educate people. And then that kind of started. So when we got the machine and then we used the machine on my property, I took a bunch of videos and clips and stuff, and I created a YouTube video to kind of educate people on what this is.
Okay.
I then started running the ads. Then the ads, I would include the YouTube link in there and then send them through that and then to the website to close the sale.
Okay.
So once we launched and people saw it, and we took off very quickly.
Okay. When you look at acquiring customers, like, how do you approach that? Do you have like, what sort of a process do you use for that?
So we have a 3-step framework for it.
All right. I want to get into that.
Okay.
But first, like, what did your first customer look like? Like, who were they? How did you find them, etc.?
So they came in through our ads, and she actually had a parent pass away, and their property had been sitting vacant for like 15 years, overgrown. So she wanted the property that she grew up in to look like it did when she lived there when she was a kid. And so we went out there, didn't really know what we were doing, started quoting by the day at the time. We had some experience running the equipment off our property, but we cleared her property. She, went with us and learned a lot on that job, but she was just absolutely over the moon about it. When we were done, she was crying. She was so happy. Like, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of very rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we thought about when we started.
You didn't expect someone to cry, right?
Right. Yeah, we didn't expect it. And so it just kind of reinforced this idea like, hey, we're on the right path.
Yeah.
We're doing something very valuable for people.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so this is part of what we'll be mulching today. Tell me what we're looking at here.
So this is what we would consider, so the way we do our pricing is by the quarter acre. We used to do it by the day. We've kind of adapted that model. So this one we would consider like a medium brush density.
Okay.
And a tier 1 terrain for us. So it's pretty flat, very manageable by the skid.
Okay.
And this would be like a tier 2 density.
This is tier 2 here?
Yeah. So it's a little bit difficult to walk through is kind of the easiest way to put it. Nothing too crazy large. This is definitely it's medium work for the machine. It's not going to be anything too crazy. So that's kind of how we decide how we quote things, and it allows us to be scalable with our price.
Okay. So how many tiers are there?
So we've got 3 tiers of brush density and 3 tiers of terrain.
Okay. So do you have like a formula in your head where if it's like tier 3 plus tier 1 plus 7 acres equals this price, or?
Yeah, so it is formulated. So when we quote a property, I'll highlight the area that we're clearing. Let's say it's 5 acres. I can separate that out. If this area is a tier 2 terrain, it has a multiplier applied to that base quarter acre price.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated. However, if like you wanted to start out like we did, you could also just do it by day.
Okay.
And it'd be pretty comfortable with your pricing, and customers are pretty happy with that pricing model as well.
Okay.
We just kind of adapted as we expanded. and needed a little bit more definition to how we price.
Yeah. So roughly, let's say it's a tier 2 density, 3 acres. How many days would that take? Half a day, 2 days?
3 acres would be on a tier 2 density, roughly 3 days.
Okay. And what would you charge for that?
That would be somewhere around 6,000.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit higher than that, but yeah, about 6 to 7.
And your costs on that are really no labor if you're doing it yourself, right?
Right, so we have one guy, one machine. So very simple. I go out and quote it. I mark everything out for the operator. They can see what we're doing. They can see the area that we're clearing. And they just show up with the machine and run it through. So our cost on that is pretty low, pretty reasonable.
How much in fuel, roughly?
So we'll probably run about $80 to $100 a day in diesel fuel.
Okay, let's say $300 for fuel. If you're paying someone to do it, what are you paying him per day?
So they're making about $250 to $300 a day.
Okay, let's say 300. So $1,000 for labor, $600 for fuel.
Yep.
$1,600. You've got to put some aside for repairs.
Yep.
Right? How much roughly do you set aside?
It's about 8% is what we put aside for repairs. We used to do 10%, but we just, it ended up being too much.
Okay. Let's be conservative and say 10. So we're at like 2,000 now, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right? We're at 2,000, and then payment on the vehicle, what is that per month?
$1,500
a month.
A month.
So it's like your costs, even if you pay someone to do it, are like 30%, 40%?
And that would be if it was just mulching. And, other things that we offer, which most customers take advantage of, is going to be something like grapple work. We'll charge $750 to run the grapple.
So $6,000 job, $4,000 profit.
Yeah.
And if you do it yourself, $5,000 profit. Same job, give or take.
Yeah. Any of the upsales too can even increase it more.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so tell me what we're looking at here.
So this is a Bobcat T86 with a Superflow Bobcat mulching head.
Okay.
And this one in particular has the knives on it with what they call a bite limiter.
Okay.
So this little drum keeps the teeth from going too far into the ground.
Okay. Can you adjust these, like the distance between this?
You can, yeah. So there would be there's some adapters, but you don't really necessarily need to.
Okay.
These are designed as all one.
Okay. And then what is the carbide version that you were talking about?
So the carbide version is, rather than it being kind of like a blade right here, it's got carbide tips on it. And it's a lot better if you're going to be in a rocky area. If you need to hit the ground for any reason, and you can push those teeth into the ground without dulling it. Okay. The knives will dull, but they're also cut through wood about 50% faster.
Okay. What would the attachment cost new and used? And what would the Bobcat cost new or used?
So our first attachment we got was a Fecon attachment. We bought that used. It was part of their rental stuff. We picked it up for $15,000.
Okay.
A brand new one, you're going to be around $40,000.
Okay. And then what about the machine?
So an 86 is going to be about $115,000. Our first machine was a 770. We bought that used for $74,000.
Okay. Did you start by financing these, or did you just have cash for the whole thing?
So we definitely financed. We put about $5,000 down and financed the first machine.
Okay. What was your first payment on your first machine and attachment?
So it's about $1,400 a month for that, and that included that attachment as part of it.
Okay. So you got in this business for $5,000, or was there more to it than that?
Yeah. Well, we bought the trailer. So we did buy a trailer. That was...
Which you could have financed. We could have.
Yeah. The trailers are pretty affordable. So we just paid cash for it. But it was about $11,000.
Okay.
And then we needed a truck that could pull it. So we just bought a used truck for about $8,000.
Okay.
That could pull it safely. And so yeah, really the startup cost is pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And how much was your first job?
First job we did was about $6,500.
Wow. Okay. The one where the lady cried?
Yeah.
Okay,
that was a multi-day job, yeah.
So if you had found a way to finance the truck and trailer or lease the truck and trailer, $5,000 down for the equipment, you could have paid back all of your startup costs from your first job.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep.
And then how much was your second job?
It's been a while since it was probably just a day job. I think it was about $1,800. I think at the time we were at $1,800.
Okay.
We moved to $2,000 per day pretty quickly.
Okay. How long between the time when you first started running ads in earnest to closing that first deal?
2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just when she was available to do the quote.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I published that ad, I had people reaching out.
Oh my gosh.
So we were hitting the ground running pretty quick.
And first 30 days, from the day you start ads, 30 days later, what was your revenue or profit, if you remember?
First 30 days, I think it was about 25,000.
Oh my gosh.
25.
And profit?
Profits.
I mean, you've got your startup cost.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just that month, yeah, I mean, it was pretty 17, maybe 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so what year is this machine here?
This is a 2025.
Okay. Could an F-150 pull this, or do you need something bigger?
No, this would need, especially this machine, this one's about 12,000 pounds.
Okay.
So you're going to want at least a 3,500 truck, yeah.
Okay.
And this one you would need a CDL to pull.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now talk to me about renting machines, because from what I understand, it's pretty easy to rent a Bobcat. The hard part is the attachment.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I rent Bobcats on Facebook Marketplace for my property. Right?
Yeah,
I've never tried to rent the attachment.
Well, that's a good point too. So the Bobcat, the reason is you have to run a forestry kit on the machine.
Okay.
So like on this machine, for example, you can see this is a fall guard. So if you're knocking any trees come down on the cab, a regular Bobcat doesn't have that.
Okay.
As the forestry kit ones have it.
Okay.
And then you can see this door. It's a 3/4 inch polycarbonate door.
Okay.
So it's a expensive add-on for the machines.
Yeah.
But that's why they won't rent you one that doesn't have that.
Okay.
That specific stuff. Bobcat does. Most Bobcat dealers will rent them. Unless you're renting it for like a month.
Yeah.
It is expensive to rent.
Well, I rented a Bobcat. It didn't have the forestry mulching kit, but just from an individual, it was like $350 a day, $350 a day.
Yeah, these are quite a lot more, yeah.
All right, so you just finished this. Walk us through what we're looking at here.
So this is kind of like the finished product of mulching, just kind of like a fine wood mulch. It takes about 12 to 18 months to break down, and then the grass will come back in.
Okay. You don't need to remove it or anything. It just...
No, I would actually recommend you don't remove it.
Yeah. Is there any type of like tree or vegetation that people should watch out for, or just stuff that's too thick?
Well, in our area, we have what's called Osage orange tree. Very hardwood. When you hit it, it's like concrete. We can mulch them. It just takes a long time. And it can break some teeth sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it depends. You don't want to hit metal. So before a job, we'll go through and make sure all the metal's picked up. Rubber, like tires, things like that.
Barbed wire.
Barbed wire, yeah. So we actually include it as part of our emails to the customers. So we'll say, hey, if you could clear the area of debris. If they don't do that, that's fine. We'll do it. It's just that's part of the billable time.
Okay. All right. So walk us through the revenue and profit numbers. So tell me what day you started the business.
So it was May
of 24?
Mid-May 14th, maybe.
Okay. Of 2024?
2024, yeah.
Okay.
So about 19 months.
Okay. So what did May through December, your first year, look like?
So we did around 170 to 180 off the top of my head.
1,000?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How much of that was profit?
Gross profit was about 70%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was exactly like 69 point something.
So 6 figures of profit your first 7 months.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. What was your best month that first year, for the first 7 months?
45,000.
Wow.
I'd say. Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
that's hustling. That's running that machine every day.
Which month was that?
I wouldn't say it was October.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, yeah.
So your 5th month in business, just in that month alone, you did $45,000, and over 30,000 of that was profit.
Yeah.
That's incredible. All right, so then January 2025 starts. How does that year look?
We're seasonal where we're at.
Yeah.
Not everybody would be seasonal. Like, down here in Texas, they're not. They can run all year. So our second year was a very slow start. It was no mulching in January, February, March. We had anticipated starting first week of April for spring. We just got record-breaking rain, so we didn't end up getting started until June.
Okay. How did it look from June to December?
So we bought another machine because at the time we're selling jobs, right? So we just started stacking jobs like crazy. I mean, it was just 2 every day.
And do you collect a deposit? How does that work?
We actually don't unless it's over a certain amount. So if it's like over $10,000, then we'll collect a 20% deposit.
Okay.
But yeah, this year we ended up doing about $565,000.
In 6 months?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And then we also picked up the remote controlled machine. The RCU is amazing. It's a high dollar service for that one because it's very specific. It serves hillsides. And what kind of advantage we got last year, we stopped mulching at the end of November, about third week in November. This year, we've been able to just keep pushing.
Yeah.
And I also learned from the first year that we need to have large farm properties and stuff set up for the winter.
Okay.
So what I did was, as I'm out doing quotes, let's say I'm doing a quote in July, but it's a large farm property, I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, do you mind if we do this in the winter? Do you have a certain time frame you want this done? They say, oh, I don't mind at all. And I'll offer them a 10% discount for us to move that to the winter. So I'll look at, make sure these are great properties.
Filling in the gaps.
Right. I'm basically now, last year we stopped all winter. This year I learned, hey, we can actually run year round if I plan ahead.
Yeah.
And I can point out, hey, this property doesn't hold water. This is a large farm property. They don't care about ruts on their property. They just have it's serving a specific purpose for them. So I filled up our whole winter schedule. So now we're running all winter.
Wow. So you're not really seasonal right now, even in Ohio?
Yeah, so we found a way to get around being seasonal.
Oh man. All right, so first 6 months in business, $180,000, over $100,000 in profit. Then you take some time off, it's winter, it's wet, it's rainy, you don't know what you don't know. The next 6 months after that, you do $565,000 in revenue.
Yep.
Put those together in a 12-month time frame, you do over $500,000 in profit, like net profit.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now let's
gross
talk
profit.
Okay, gross profit.
Yeah, not net.
What would net be?
So net is about 40%.
Okay.
About 36, 40.
All right, so like 750 in revenue, call it 550 in gross profit, and 300,000 in net profit, give or take.
Yeah, and that's, you got to keep it, that's with a lot of growth investment.
Yeah.
So that's,
more
new
ads,
trucks,
more equipment.
trailers, equipment, ads. Yeah. So next year we expect the net to be quite substantially higher.
Yeah. What do you expect to do next year?
We expect to do over $1 million. We're hoping to hit 1.2. And we can do that with the machines that we have now.
Wow.
So we don't have to buy any more equipment.
Okay, so tell me about this 3-step marketing method that you have.
So the 3-step marketing framework is capture, educate, sale.
Okay.
So essentially we do a meta ad to capture their attention.
Only video ad.
Only video.
Vertical?
Vertical.
Okay.
Yep. It'll be showing the mulcher shots and the really interesting shots, slow-mo shots of the mulcher, before and afters, real attention grabbing stuff. Just to show people, hey, you have this problem, here's the solution.
Yeah.
And then we include our YouTube channel link into the ad.
So the call to action to click in the ad is to your YouTube channel.
It's to our website, but then our website also features YouTube up front.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also include the YouTube link in the ad itself.
Okay.
The ad text.
Okay.
So kind of leading them, they can capture the YouTube through the site or through the YouTube link on the ad.
Okay.
Yeah. So then our YouTube channel then educates them. Most people don't know what forestry mulching is, what land clearing is. So we show them what it is, show them how it's done. They can see what to expect on a job, what it looks like when we show up, what the end result looks like 18 months from now. Just kind of educate the customer on this service, and then that leads to the sale.
Okay.
So saying, kind of show, by also showing our work, it also shows them that we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's legitimacy.
Right. It's adding legitimacy to the company and to the service itself. So, and then they funnel from there to our website where they contact us. Our leads are very hotly. They're basically already sold by the time that I even go out there because they've already seen it all through our YouTube channel.
Okay. So what do you spend per lead what do you give to Facebook for every lead on average?
So our per lead cost is $20.
$20. All right. How many of those turn into a physical quote?
Almost all of them turn into a physical
Really?
quote. Yeah.
Okay. And then what percentage of your quotes close?
So about 49% of our quotes close. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say a lead's $25 to be conservative. You're spending $50 to acquire a customer.
Yeah.
What is your average job size?
Our average job is about $3,300.
Holy cow. So that's like a 66x return on ad spend.
Yeah.
Give or take.
It's ridiculous.
But I think it's incredible that video is so central to this whole business. So do we need like a bunch of videography equipment, or can someone take their iPhone and a $20 tripod and just throw it up on a time lapse and just like during a job. Is that realistic?
Oh yeah, you could just use your phone.
Yeah.
You can strap it to your chest, get some stuff on the inside of the machine. You can set it up on a little tripod and get a time lapse.
Use like free apps, CapCut, Instagram edits. Like you don't need editing experience or anything.
You don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be good. You have to just show people what it is.
It's visual. It's fun to watch.
Right.
Now you're only showing your ads to people in the greater Cincinnati area?
Yeah, so within about 50 miles of us.
50 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. What other things can you do with a Bobcat? Like if it's seasonal, like snow removal, let's say worst case scenario, someone cannot get forestry mulching leads, but they have this Bobcat. How can they use it to make money?
Oh man, there's a million things you can do with a Bobcat. I mean, there's hundreds of different attachments. You can street sweeping, snow removal. You can have a tree spade. You could transplant trees with it. You can grind asphalt. That's a big one too. We actually see a lot of people with asphalt grinders.
Move dirt, dig culverts.
Yeah, move dirt. Yeah,
dig
culverts.
Ponds.
Literally, it's a tool that could be used for thousands of different things.
Have you ever done snow removal?
We do snow removal.
Tell me how the numbers break down on that.
So snow removal is very lucrative. So if you get a good snow event, so we'll make around $10,000 to $11,000 per snow event. And that is within about 20 hours of clearing. And then we spread that across different machines that we have.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So if you've got one machine, let's say, and you've just got to clear some snow, and you get a good season of snow, you've essentially just paid for that machine for the whole year.
How do you find those customers?
So in that case, I mean, the demand for snow removal is extraordinary. So the general contractors, at least in our area too, I know it can be different for people up north where snow in itself is its own thing. A general contractor will typically oversell their capacity, and we come in, contact a general contractor. Hey, we've got the snow boxes, we've got everything we need. What sites do you want us at? And they'll always give you something.
Yeah.
They always need people.
So that's just a different attachment?
That's just, and that's probably the most affordable attachment is a snow box. I mean, you can pick those up for a couple $1,000s.
Wow.
So it's,
And you're just plowing?
Yeah, we're just pushing snow.
Okay.
So just pushing it off of the parking lots and HOAs.
So you're doing it for general contractors so they can keep working?
So, I mean, general contractors, what they do is they capture the snow contract. So they'll have a snow trigger. So in our case, they'll have some properties that are 1 inch. So if there's 1 inch of snow on the ground, you're out there pushing snow. It doesn't matter if you're expecting 13 inches. If it's at 1 inch, you're running constantly.
So they're getting paid by a landlord or something.
Yeah, they're getting paid.
And they're subbing it out to you.
Right, commercial property owners.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they sub it to us. So then they make their cut, and then...
So they might be getting paid 20 grand for that parking lot, and they're giving you 10 of it or 15 of it.
Yeah, they're making a killing off of it, yeah.
All right, so if someone's watching this, they don't have a lot of money, they've got some time, they have an internet connection, a credit card, what would you suggest they do that first 30 days to start this business and to be as successful or more as you've been?
So the first thing I would do is create a brand, build a website, borrow images. In our case, when we started out, before we had all of our images, we just borrowed Bobcats. Because we kind of looked at it like that. It's
advertising.
Yeah, it's advertising. They probably wouldn't mind having our stuff. But we just use that and start an ad. You don't have to put a ton of money into an ad. Put about $500 into it. You can get a pretty good idea.
What should a daily budget be, would you say?
So right now we run about an $80 a day budget.
Okay.
But when we started out, we ran $20 a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any tools that you would suggest that people use to build a website or a logo, or what types of tools do you use for this business?
So when we initially started, we just used WordPress and I built a website. But now with AI, you can just throw a website online with Lovable.
One prompt?
Yeah, one prompt. You can one-shot the website. I mean, it's never been so simple to start a business now.
What are the must-haves on the website?
Lead capture, pictures, videos if you have it, your logo, there's the description of your service, before and afters if you can find some that you can use.
What would you have done differently going back in time? How could people avoid headaches?
So what I would have done differently is bought a new machine. I wouldn't have bought used.
Start new, not used.
Yep. The reason is because forestry can be hard on equipment and it's hard to determine what you're getting. It's best to just start new. That way you know exactly what's going on with the machine. You know it's new, you know it's going to run, you know it has a warranty.
Okay.
Yeah, warranty is a big part of it. So Yeah, I would have started new because especially with you can get 0% financing on new. Looking back, that's what we would have done.
Okay. What are your insurance costs run?
So insurance for us is actually pretty reasonable. For one machine, I want to say is about $150 a month. So
wow.
Pretty reasonable. And the reason, in our case, they consider us an excavating company.
Okay.
Not a tree service. So that's pretty affordable for insurance.
What about like general liability insurance or more like umbrella? Do you have that?
Yeah.
What is that run?
So that's $225
a month.
A month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other unexpected costs in this business?
Unexpected costs
or downsides?
I would say, so your wear parts with mulching are going to wear faster. So you're going to break hydraulic couplings. Like I said, it's harder on the machine. So having a stockpile of wear parts, if you buy in bulk, it's a lot cheaper. So you're going to break hydraulic couplings and they're super easy to just unscrew and screw on. So yeah, I would say that wasn't something we expected starting out, but we figured out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Unexpected costs went more around machines. I was like grease, fluids. Fuel is pretty easy. The machines are kind of made to run for 8 hours a day on a fuel tank. So
let's say that someone wants to start this business. They don't want to hire, they don't want to scale, they just want it to be them and a machine. How big could this business get if they stayed 40 hours a week busy all year? How, like on a revenue and a profit basis?
I would say with one person, one machine running year round, they could do reasonably about $35,000 a month.
A month in profit or revenue?
In revenue with one machine, yeah.
How much of that profit would you say?
I would say they're going to end up about $20,000 a month.
Okay, so $250,000 a year in profit, running this business yourself.
Yep, running it yourself.
How big could it scale? Like if they just wanted to go all out, hiring, like big building?
Yeah, oh man. The sky's the limit because you can get into commercial, you can get into right-of-way clearing, you can...
Government contract?
Yeah, solar fields is another big one, so you can do solar field clearing. There are huge companies that do this, like Asplund, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. In just your city alone, depending on where you live, like in Cincinnati, for example, I could easily see this getting to about $30 million a year.
Holy cow.
Just in Cincinnati.
So Cincinnati has 300,000 people and the whole metro area has 2 million people. So you're saying in that area, your business could scale in time to a $30 million business?
Yeah, I could see it being quite large.
Okay. Alex, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to learn more?
So they can find us on our YouTube channel at Brushworks Co. And then our website is brushworksco.com.
Okay, and we'll link to both of those. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So these videos take a lot of time and money to film, and my entire goal is to get you to start a business with or without me. So if you appreciate this video, please just do me a favor, subscribe, share it with someone who might be entrepreneurial. Even if you're watching this, you might think you're subscribed. Most of you actually aren't. Thanks for hanging out.